What's going on, guys? Welcome back to this episode of the Road to Redemption podcast MMA show, and I'm your host, Cam Williamson. Today, we are talking about UFC Jacksonville 2. This is the Alistair Overeem, Walt Harris main event. Super excited for this fight, but guys, honestly, the reason I'm so excited for this fight, I have a friend fighting on the card. My buddy Nate Landwehr, that's the fight I'm going to start with on the prelims because I don't know much about anybody else on the two cards, two fights before them. I will tell you, the people fighting, Dante Mays and Rodrigo, I'm not going to try that, Ferreira, and then Mara Barella versus Courtney Casey. So shout out to those four fighters. I just don't know that much about you, and I wanted to start because it's going to be the main topic of my conversation. Nate, the Train Landwehr versus Darren, the Damage Elkins. Guys, I've already called it. I put it out in the social media world, guys. This fight is going to be a UFC Hall of Fame fight. I guarantee it. Now, my caveat to this, the only reason I could be wrong, Darren Elkins did not look good when he weighed in. I watched the weigh-ins this morning. Nate and Darren weighed in. Nate was right after Alistair Overeem came in. He came in pretty shortly after. Darren Elkins was one of the first to weigh in. And guys, he did not look good. I know it's weight cut day. They're all sunk in. They're going to rehydrate and everything like that. Been there, done it. Guys, I'm just telling you, when you look in somebody's eyes, you can see Nate looks good. I think Nate looks good. Darren Elkins something looked off. Something looked off. Now, let's get out of that. Let's move into it. Let's move into the my predictions in the fight. Obviously, Nate's my friend. I'm never gonna ever vote against my friend Nate. I'm taking Nate all day long, but I'm doing that. Even it's calculated, guys. It's a calculated thing. One, Darren Elkins is getting up there. Darren the Damage Elkins, guys, they don't call him that for no reason. He takes a lot of damage. I was literally just sitting here watching one of his most popular fights. The guy's name is now escaping me. Mirsad Bektik. There you go, Mirsad Bektik and him, guys, went to war. Mirsad was fucking him up. Bektik was fucking him up the entire time. And all of a sudden, in the third round, Darren Till comes back with this nasty knee hook that just, oh my God, ankle hook that got his knee, fucked him up, guys, it was done. He came back, and Darren Elkins was so beaten to death. He could barely talk to Joe Rogan after. It was a great post-fight interview. You could tell he was like, wow, I did it. When honestly, now, here's something I want to point out about this fight. With Anthony Smith, Glover Teixeira being this last Saturday, we're not even a week away from that fight. We are going to see a fight that probably should be stopped many times. Many times. Nate Landwehr and Darren Elkins are going to put it all on the canvas. I promise you that. Neither one of these two men have a problem standing there and just taking that heat. They are dogs. Now, Nate, people are not giving Nate enough credit for his power. If you watch any of his fights in the M1 Global and below, when he was fighting in an amateur level XFC, all of these different organizations that Nate's gone through, guys, Nate has a lot of fights under his belt. He has a lot. Nate has learned and progressed every single time. His last fight with Herbert the Blaze Burns, yes, Nate got caught with a knee. Now, Nate hung in with a fan-fucking-tastic grappler, jiu-jitsu artist, hung in there with him, escaped, and got back to his feet, guys. Please stop underrating Nate the Train. Now, Nate does very, very smart. Nate is going to constantly hit you. He may not throw everything behind every single one. You're not supposed to. It's right. It's very tough on the cardio. Now, Nate has no issue with the cardio. Darren Elkins seemingly has no issues with his cardio. He got a little tired. At the end, but guys, he took a beating on that last fight. Nate has no issue going to the deep round, the deep waters with people. He'll go there. Neither one of these two are going to get nervous if they see themselves bleeding. But like I said, we are going to see a fight, where the referee is going to have to make many, many, many decisions. Now, Anthony Smith's corner is getting very heavily criticized for not calling their fight. Guys, when do you call it, right? When do you call your fight for your fighter? Now, a lot of guys have conversations with their coaches before. Coach, I don't give a fuck what happens. You do not throw in that towel. If I'm breathing, then I have a chance to go, right? Some of them really have that conversation. Anthony Smith claims that's what he has with his coaches. I can tell you, Nate has no problem being in murky waters, and he's very comfortable there, right? Darren Elkins, no problem, same thing. So, guys, I'm interested. I hope that this fight doesn't get cut short due to poor stoppage, but obviously fighter safety first. If either one of these two, and obviously Nate is my friend, guys. I sweat. My hands physically sweat watching every single fight, and some of them are worse than others. I am no more of a mess than when Nate fights, because again, he is willing to lay it all out there on the line, and he's gonna give you a show. Now, he's coming off the defeat to the Burns brother. I always call him Herbert Burns or Herbert the Blaze because I always want to make sure I don't call him by his brother's name. Nate he's coming for redemption. Nate's been on this show. You guys can go back and watch that. He was right before he signed with the UFC. He was on the show, so he was kind of in a transition period, and he has been grinding so hard, guys. I'm so proud of him, and I can't wait to watch him make the second UFC walk, and take home that W. Guys, Nate the Train all day. Let's move on. Kevin Holland versus Anthony Hernandez. Now, I watched Anthony Hernandez when he fought in China. He fought on that China card, and guys, he looked good. He looked very good. I mean, he put on a great show in China, and he had like his funny mustache when he fought there. So that first got my attention. I was like, all right, this dude's going to be good at kind of marketing himself. Now, since his win, I've seen little from him. His team needs to get better about his PR. Kevin Holland came through the Contender Series. I believe they both did, actually. Kevin Holland came through the Contender Series. Is kind of, I don't know. He's just kind of been there. He hasn't made any pursuit really for the top. He has beaten entry-level guys, so we'll see. I think Anthony Hernandez is going to be a great test for him. It's going to be a big test for him, but I take Anthony Hernandez to win that fight. Absolutely. Miguel Beza versus Matt the Immortal Brown. Guys, Matt the Immortal Brown is a hometown hero of mine. He's from Columbus, Ohio. Still operates a gym in Columbus. It's his own gym now. Back when I used to go to this little jiu-jitsu gym in Grove City that was literally in the side of like this fucked up strip mall. The first thing they told me is they said, Matt the Immortal Brown trains here or used to train here. I was like, oh, that's cool. I don't know who the fuck that is. And then as I've come through the years, that was like back in 2008 before I was ever this diehard into fighting. Now I know very well who Matt the Immortal Brown is. And guys, Matt Brown just picked up a big W, a hard-fought W. He had to dig. He was getting his ass whooped in that last fight that he was in. I don't remember who he fought. But, guys, Matt Brown is here to show that he can still fight. He's up against a young gun, so this is gonna show a lot. If Matt, I don't know if Matt's thinking he wants to take a shot at the title. If he's going to do it, he needs to do it right now. Let me circle back to Nate's fight, right? Nate winning this fight puts him in conversation, especially in the fashion that he's winning this fight, puts him in the huge talk of who's to come in the what in the featherweight division. Guys, I'm telling you, don't miss this fight. Let's move on. So that wraps up the prelims. Matt Brown's is the main event of the prelims. I always call it the main event of the prelims. That's what it is. Let's see. First fight: Marlon Vera versus Song Yadong. Guys, Marlon Vera is a monster. He's a little tiny compact dude. I'm pretty sure he's of Mexican descent, and guys, he has that dog in him. He's gonna stand there and he is we so far have a great night of striking. We have a great night of striking coming down the line. Everything that I'm seeing is gonna be great striking. Now back to Nate's fight. Both of those two are very, very good wrestlers and don't mind being in a hardcore scramble. So we're going to get that too from them. Krzysztof Jotko versus Eric Anders. Krzysztof Jotko is quite the striker, hell of a striker. Again, like I said, I've gone through and looked at this card. It's a ton of striking going on tonight or tomorrow. Eric Anders, I've seen him fight a few times. I'm taking Krzysztof Jotko. I like saying it like that. I'm taking him. He's just man, oh man, oh man. He defeated Dan Hooker, if I'm not mistaken. I believe he did. No, he did not. No, he did not. Edson Barboza defeated Dan Hooker, and I'm looking at him. Krzysztof Jotko, great striker. I think he's going to be faster. As long as he can stay out of the way of Eric Anders' power, I think he's going to be fine. Edson Barboza beating Dan Hooker. Guys, Dan Hooker is a dog, trains with Israel Adesanya over at City Kickboxing in New Zealand. Got everybody out of that. Not Andre Orlovsky. Really? I'm gonna fucking gap his name. It's all good. I'll think of it. Anywho, he trains over there with a whole crew full of savages. Savages. Dan Hooker does, not Edson Barboza. I'm taking versus Dan Ige. I kind of went through Ige's past in the UFC. It's been slightly, again, anticlimactic. Guys, you're going to see this, right? The reason these cards don't get much hype and the reason you don't see a lot of media content behind them, all the big media contents are jumping on these ones because it's literally the only thing to talk about. But usually these undercards, these smaller ones, aren't talked about very much. This is great exposure for every single one of these fights. There's every single one of these guys knows that this is their shot. This is their time. Now, Edson Barboza's he's been there. People know him very well. And again, people know Eric Anders. Again, there's names on this card. But the prelims especially, and then leading up to, I would say this is the first big one with Edson Barboza being there. Guys, this is a night to shine for all of these fighters. So I hope that all these fighters that either don't have much tape on them or are newly coming out the Contender Series or have one or two fights under their belt, I hope that they go to sleep tonight knowing that they could wake up tomorrow, their lives changed because the whole world's going to be watching. The whole world's going to be watching. So Claudia Gadelha versus Angela Hill. I'm never going to vote against Angela Hill. She trains out of Tiger Muay Thai. She's an absolute savage with Muay Thai. Love Angela Hill. Never going to vote against her. Let's make that one quick. Angela Hill, I think she cut her hair. I believe she did. It's pretty wild. She usually has this crazy afro. Then you have the main event of the evening, Walt Harris versus Alistair Overeem. God, I can't talk today. Alistair Overeem. Alistair's coming off that vicious loss where he got his lip split completely in half. And then we obviously have Walt Harris, who is coming in with the tragic story of his daughter. His daughter was kidnapped and murdered. It really took over media for a while, especially Walt wasn't much of a name in the UFC, and he was her stepdad. It was tragic. I mean, when people like Ariel Helwani and UFC fighters really started tweeting about it, it got national coverage. And I think over a span of like 4 months, they looked for her and they found the body. And my wife was looking up the case last night, and it was so tragic, man. She was such a young girl, and it says she was shot once or something. So Walt Harris has got a lot to fight for, and they're going to highlight that, so it's going to be heavy on his mind. I just hope, again, this is a lot of shine. Alistair Overeem's no joke, and he's going to take you there. So I hope Walt Harris is ready, man. He's got a lot to fight for. If I had to take somebody, I think Alistair Overeem is going to take this one. I hate to say that with the situation being what it is. I would like Walt Harris to get that payday, but I think Alistair Overeem's going to take that, guys. He was piecing up his last opponent before the lip split happened. He got TKO'd, knocked out, TKO'd, whatever they called it. In the last, let me see, just because, again, my mind's not working very well today. Alexander Volkanovski is the guy I was trying to think of a minute ago that trains out of City Kickboxing with them. Let me see, striking accuracy, 73%. So again, we're not going to get any grappling out of this one. Like, why? Goddamn, UFC. Make your thing easier. Like, they should just have, who is the, oh, there you go. Rosenstruck, who we just saw fight. That Rosenstruck who just got knocked out. Alistair Overeem was fucking him up. He was tearing him up the whole fight, I think, and he just got caught. So there you go. Before that, he fought Olenek, who we also just saw fight the other night. There, now I've got his entire bio history. So let's go back. Let's go back so I can give you just a hair more on that Barboza fight because it deserves it. It absolutely deserves it. We'll go back 2 seconds. Guys, again, let me just shout out that Nate the Train. That's going to be the fight of the night. That will be the fight of the night. Let's go. Edson's profile. I'm on the UFC's website. Shout out UFC.com. Thank you. Edson Barboza, striking accuracy, 43%. Grappling accuracy, 47%. So, we'll see. We'll see. Last one, Paul Felder. Paul Felder won, so he lost to Paul Felder. He's coming off a loss. He's coming off another loss to Justin Gaethje, so he's coming off 2 losses. His last win was against Dan Hooker. Fought Justin Gaethje and Paul Felder for that's 2 steep climbs. You got a real big jump when you beat Dan Hooker. They were giving you a shot at the title, a good run at the title, but you had to get through Gaethje first. Gaethje said, no sir. And then they said, all right, no problem. We're not going to drop you all the way back down, but, hey, you're going to meet right here in the middle, Paul Felder. Couldn't hack it. So now he's dropped down a little bit, and now he's going to fight, Dan Agee, which, again, we don't know much about him. Let me look. Let me just click on his profile for shits and giggles. Let's see what he's got going on. Again, I don't know much about him. A lot of these guys, striking accuracy 50%, grappling accuracy 29%. So Barboza's got him in the grappling part. Striking, he's hanging right there with him. Oh, he fought Bektic too. There you go. And then before he fought Aguilar, and then he fought Henry. So there you go. Bektic seems to be a popular bout, and he's no joke. No joke. So very excited about this one, guys. Tune in to ESPN Plus. Make sure you guys get that. This is a free fight, so you don't have to pay for it. And make sure you are watching the prelims. When Nate the Train makes the walk, everyone, it is electric. So here we go. UFC Jacksonville 2. Nate the Train, baby.